2024. But I'm not going to be guilt tripping you. I'm going to be regular tripping you because why guilt trip? We don't need to guilt trip people. We can just regular trip people. The regular trip of the trippy trip, which is us moving ahead towards a new destiny. Us moving ahead with stepping towards a new destiny. And by stepping towards a new destiny, yes, I'm talking about breaking the habit of being us via the Joe Dispenza book, Becoming Supernatural. Do you like my sign? Ta-da! What they don't teach you in school. We're going to study buddy the first book of 2025. And that book, James Nestor, or whatever book that you own. This is not a buy another book that you did not read type of video. It is not. How many books have you bought that you thought, oh yeah, that'd be a good idea for me to read it, and then you don't? And then now you own another book that you are in possession of that you have not yet taken action on. We're going to be profitable by chapter 1, video 1, launching your first video. So we're going 0 to 2, and we're rocketing past the first one, which is kind of your hardest one. We're jettisoning past the very difficult one so that way we don't have to get stuck. Because what does a book do? A book accelerates us. A book presses us ahead. That's great. A book that seems so trite and basic, James Nestor Breathe. We don't have to study buddy that book, but we can breathe and breathe into and inhale, breath pun intended, pulmonat, page 11, double entendre intended. Pretty funny, right? Inhaling a book that we did not write, but that we then spit out and move forward on. Kind of like when we inhale a buffet. Kind of like a buffet. Obviously, the OC for not Asian cowboy, but the Oriental cowboy. Because Asian, I mean, it could mean any number of things. It could be Chinese, it could be Japanese, it could be Indian, South Asian, South Pakistani. But the Oriental cowboy, that's the best of the best of the best inside of China. Like, it's not just a regular lamp. Oh no, it's a $50,000 Oriental lamp. That's what we're doing here is we're doing book club. So pick out a book. Pick out a book. Yeah, it's totally true, right? What's even more true is pick up a book that you own that you have not read to completion. And we're going to study buddy it, and I'm going to show you a jaw-dropping way to make more than $0 with that book. Is that a fiction book? That is. So, any fiction book is amazing. Most people haven't, which is why the next book you pick will be a nonfiction book, but let's go with The Land of the Dakota. What we're going to do is we're going to write a prequel sequel like the book Wizard of Oz. There's a prequel which is Zelma or Zelda or what happened prior. So in the fiction book that you read maybe one time, which we can study buddy on, but every fiction book is super easy because you write a homage book report to the prequel version of that book because people are going to have a fan club. So this is literally fan fiction. If you look on YouTube, there's videos on Star Wars fan produced movies. So what are we doing? We're doing a fan produced book report on a work of fiction, The Land of Zakoda. And that's how you get to dollar number 6 because it's a fictional book. And thank you. I'm glad that you like it. This is hat tip to my mentor, Mark McCormack. Shay Shay. Cool. And so if you guys are interested, this is where I got it from. I got it from this guy. His name is Mark McCormack. And the reason I have this school in my banner header is that he wrote the hilarious book, What They Don't Teach You at Harvard Business School. I don't know if I have my copy around here somewhere. You guys, you don't have to necessarily subscribe, but I actually do know all of my subscribers. And so I want to be able to connect. And asking for you to text 650-283-8008 might seem overly friendly and overly intimate. So if you subscribe, then we can connect via DMs or my email, larry@duck9.com. Larry like my channel name, Duck9 like my company name, or just larry@larrychang.com. It's it's right here, right in front of me. Mark McCormack gave me sequels. What he did was a sequel to the Senior Golf Tour. Do you remember when we were talking about the Land of Zakoda? So I want to know, if I'm a super fan, what happened in the time before Zakoda as a prequel, or 11 things that led up to the revolution in the land of Zakoda. Am I pulling this out of my butt? Yeah, a little bit. But what I'm more doing is I'm showing you how stuff germinates. I'm showing you how stuff grows. And so Mark McCormack, he did the Senior Golf Tour. What is the Senior Golf Tour? It's what they don't teach you in law school at Yale, and a little bit of what they do teach you at Yale Law, which is same golfers, but older, for the Senior Golf Tour. Same sponsors, same business model, same distribution, except older golfers hitting from the ladies' tee. He made so much money in his first year of the Senior Golf Tour. And so his advice to me was, if you're starting up a business, don't start up a startup, okay, which this school is famous for. Why not start a spin-off business to a business that you did not start? He did not start the Pro Golfer Tour, but he did start the Senior Golf Tour. Mark McCormack. What is Duck9? It is a sequel to 2 books. That's all it is I read 2 books, I smashed them together, and then I asked the question, what would Jerry Detweiler do if she had a computer science degree? And that's incredibly specific, but it turns out the more specific you get, the better you can meet the needs of a particular vertical of people. It's called if you want to study buddy an essay, it's actually called What Altair Basic, Altair like Altair, what Altair Basic is this the Microsoft of? A person named Paul Graham wrote it. I think it's www.paulgraham.com/altair.htm. I know I'm showing off a little bit, but I just wanted to save time versus, hey, can you email me that thing or can you text me, blah, 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 right? What book do you guys own that's a nonfiction book that we can study buddy? Ideally, it's one of your parents' business books that you've seen them read. And now we can be not necessarily smarter than our parents, but kind of smarter than our parents. How scandalous is this live stream? That's a book called Time Reverses. Actually, I don't understand your question. Re-ask the question, but time reversing is entirely possible. It's actually chapter 11 of Joe Dispenza from this morning's stream, which is time-space distortion. But I don't think you meant to ask that question. What a great question. Moose, all of a sudden, best student in the class. What Moose did is day X, day 4, day 2, and day 1 of my 99 days of Christmas. What's today? Day number 28. Do I love Christmas? Yeah, because I love Christ, and it's like the hot girl that's like, oh, my birthday should be like for a motherfucking month. What? What? What kind of hot girl logic is that where it should be my birthday all month? Well, I took that and be like, yeah, okay, it's your birthday all month. Whatever you want, okay? Right? Whatever you want. Shaggy, you get credit for that question too. And so with Jesus, why don't we make his birthday for 3 months? Like, he did, a pretty good job. That's why it's the 99 days of Christmas. Expansion on a prior is what you guys just did. Will you please write that down? Because that's the value of this $4,000 video that you paid $0 for. It's called expansion on a prior. If you're able to do 3 expansion on a priors per month, you will be better than 80% of all the people your age. It's the opposite of ADD. It's literally Apotaco, hashtag Apotaco of ADD, because ADD is new thing, new thing, new thing, new thing, new thing, new thing. Whereas expansion on a prior is asking, hey Larry, what 2 books did you use to start Duck 9? Great question. Jerry Detweiler, The Ultimate Credit Handbook. Mark McCormack, What They Don't Teach You at Harvard Business School. Expansion on a prior, just have one dedicated notebook that is always in your pocket and track the number of times per day that you do expansion on a prior. At lectures at the school up above, people who were the founder of Uber, the founder of Lyft, Michael, Travis Kalanick, the founder of DoorDash, all these people would come in and nobody would ask any questions because they're just stunned. They're like, I can't believe Steve Jobs is here, which is why my email signature line is 650-283-8008. Yes, the phone number that texted with Steve Jobs. And so nobody would ask questions. I would tell students, this is how to ask a question when I attempt to bring Steve Jobs in to give a lecture. All you need to do is raise your hand and say, "Can you repeat that?" You don't even need to raise your hand. You just need to say, "Hey, can you repeat that?" And the celebrity keynoter would be like, "Oh, thanks. That's a really good question." So what I meant to say by expand on a prior, I'm giving myself goosebumps. That's the biggest life hack, which is expand on a prior. And so the two books that I used to start a business with $50 is the Ultimate Credit Handbook by Jerry Detweiler. I read that book more than one time, which is why this book club is what they don't teach you in school. Let us study buddy one book and make at least, for you two, at least $250, because you two are the best students inside of this little group. Oh, but your audience size is so small. And like, I don't know if I've ever learned from a person with like 6 views. Hello, I got a PhD thesis sitting at my safety school, Harvard, written on 5 books that solve financial death. Can you explain my grandfather's paradox if we go back in time and don't tell the alternate realities? Okay. I know that that was a time distortion question because you technically don't want to be your own grandfather, because then your uncle would be your child. I think what is important here with a straight face is this: we can travel forward better in time if we leverage this thing that took Mark McCormack 30 years, okay? 30 years. So instead of going back in time to try to right the wrongs of, oh, I wish my dad would have paid for tuition for me to go to Yale, like that's actually, you don't want that, because where we're at now is what our soul wanted. Even if we're in pain watching the Oriental Cowboy boss us around with pen and paper and recommending that we get a monster notebook while putty is getting thrown at me from my Instagram feed. You didn't even want to know that, right? You didn't even want to know that. Let's focus. Because when I read Jerry Detweiler's book, I thought to myself, what if Jerry Detweiler only focused on college students at the University of Illinois and had an engineering degree? That is time distortion the correct way versus me going back and trying to wrinkle time, which is why everyone who time travels, they all go insane. They all go insane. Your IQ over 150, you're time traveling. Have you heard of the expression playing 5D chess? Ditto Interstellar. Ditto chapter 11 of Joe Dispenza. So if you want to ask those questions, first read Shaggy Shrey. Shaggy. DOC says, first read chapter 11, Becoming Supernatural. I almost said chapter 11, Unlimited Power. You could feel that like it was just right at the tip of my tongue, right? What is a nonfiction book that one of your parents or grandparents owns that they have read that you have not yet read? Let us study, buddy, that book so that we can surpass our grandparents or parents. That is time distortion via this frame of focus. The frame of this video, which is a nonfiction book. You guys, if you're new, welcome. I'm Larry Chang, and we're study buddying one book. We've already study buddied 2 books, and the goal here is to go from 0 to 2 books. How many books did you read last year? 1 or 2, right? Maybe 5, at most 12. We're going to try to get through shipping 2 videos and reading 1 book, one book, 5 books into one, which is these 5 books. One, Mark McCormack, What They Don't Teach You at Harvard Business School. These are the 5 books that help you avoid bankruptcy. These are also the 5 books that are sitting there as my PhD thesis in business. What does it solve? It solves the fact that every company dies. Literally every company dies. These 5 books forever will solve death, financial death. And book number 1 is What They Don't Teach You at Harvard Business School. Book number 2 is Eric Ries's Lean Startup. Book number 3 is Alexander Ostrander, Business Model Generation. Book number 4 is Jeffrey Moore, Crossing the Chasm. Book 5 is the flagship book, 4 Steps to the Epiphany, because I call that post what Mr. Peabody can teach us as the 5th Epiphany. So I DJ'd those 5 books into a hedge fund thesis. And people are like, oh my God, this is the most genius thing I've ever seen. I'm like, no, don't thank me or give me accolades. I got this thesis, like a PhD thesis, but it's for private equity. So it's a money thesis on how to run a portfolio as a PM, as a portfolio manager. So that's why I like books and why I'm willing for $0 to study buddy with you 1 book that makes you money, and then you don't have to give me any of the money that you make. Yeah, I'll totally rename those books again. Good job. That's your second expand on a prior. You're now going to be up to, no pressure, Moose, no pressure. By the way, that phone number I gave you is real. 650-283-8008. Good job, by the way. That's your second expand on a prior. If you hit 3 expansion on a priors before this live stream, I almost said conference call. I wish this were a conference call. Stop with the obnoxiousness. Stop. Behave. Kudos to your second expand on a prior. Kudos. Book number 1, I'm going to go reverse. 4 Steps to the Epiphany by Steve Blank. There's a blog post on the other books, which is under what Mr. Peabody can teach us about the 5th Epiphany. Let me repeat that. Mr. Peabody, he's a dog. He adopts a boy named Sherman. And that's funny because I have a dog that I adopted and I am a human. And so Mr. Peabody is hilarious because he actually has a time machine. Shaggy, Shay, Shag, Shrey. He has a time machine. It's called the Wayback. WABAC. And so because you expanded twice on a prior, do you want to just study, buddy, Moose, this book and then use this book to make $500? Yes or no? Yes? Definitely yes? Maybe? No. You don't have to. Oh my God. The hesitation. Okay. You know what? You don't have to use the phone number. I will do it without you writing down the phone number or texting me the number. But while I'm doing this, because the next 11 minutes, I will walk you through $500. I will, this is a magic trick. When I read this book, I faxed this dude. Do you even know what a fax is? A fax is this machine. You write stuff down on a piece of paper, okay? And fax machines, they used to cost like $1,000. And then a phone line was like $80 a month. So I had to write shit down on a piece of paper, put it in a fax machine in my dorm room so I could connect with this guy. That's how I ramped up my 9-figure business. But since you guys are hezzy for committing to $500 over my phone number, I'm going to show off by doing it in the next 10 and a half minutes. This is how we're going to do it. In the comments, write down a work conference that you think is what your boss's boss goes to. Your boss's boss, or if you don't have a job, a conference in your industry that is a difficult conference to pay $2,000 for. What's up? What's up? Gabby and I met at Bitcoin Miami. Did you get your ROI for that conference? Yeah, you did. Yeah, you did. And the Impervious Lounge? Who loved that lounge? We did. Did the co-founders of Impervious get their ROI before the conference ended? I would like to think so. Are you guys not interacting here with the conference? That's okay. That's okay. Do you see how quickly the 500 goes to 0? We're executing it right now. Yes, I have tips to remember some high theoretical concepts. Okay, do you see what we're doing right now? We're getting incredibly specific, and that is a pretty good question, but you want to go from the theory of this to the specifics of winning. Okay, so let's use a hypothetical. Let's use a hypothetical. And once we go hypothetical, now we're getting kind of general. And are you going to be putting pen to paper as if you paid or as if you're in danger? No, you're kind of just going to be lackadaisically, oh, I just met this rando guy on YouTube and I put $3 or $0 worth of thinking towards it. So I still have 9 minutes, which I'll still do, but notice where the wheel wagons fell off at minute number 2. At minute number 2, you couldn't answer a basic question which challenged me to deliver the $500, right? But guess what? I'm going to do it as if you're at 0, headed towards $500. You feel magic's about to happen, right? I do. Do you feel the confidence? It's not confidence from being intellectually smart. It's the repetitions. It's the iterations. I know. I know. I know. Right? I was getting cheered on. Okay. This is a rep. I'm going to ask you another question, which is, have you ever done one YouTube video for 2 minutes? Have you done one YouTube video for 2 minutes? Let's say that answer is also no, I've never done a YouTube video. We're going to use the topic of this room and this video to do a 2-minute video in the same way that I did a 9-figure company using 2 books we're going to, for you two, not the rest of the peanut gallery that has not been participatory nor liking this video. Like, what? How do you not like this? This is magical stuff. But guess what? I'm not in the like economy. I'm in the expand on a prior. The name of this room is called Let Us Book Club One Book, where you're going to do one video of a book that you have not yet bought. That's okay that you haven't bought this book because this book is 30 bucks. There's a PDF version of it online, and there's a Harvard article written on the fifth epiphany. So what we're going to do is video number 1. And video number 1 is just like last night's networking as a heterosexual winning in Miami. Ethan, welcome back. Welcome back. You always start with the 2 icons. You always start with the 2 icons. So we're going to potentially, if you're not scared to do a book report, you're not even going to do a book report because for some people, it's going to take you 17 years to read this book. Kind of like your parents who own a business book that haven't read it all the way through. Where did I find this book? Not this exact book. I found it on my dad's bookshelf, and I'm the guy who read it. Did I surpass my father? Kind of not yet, but I definitely know Mark McCormack way better. And my dad was like, why are you hanging out with Mark McCormack? And then he drops the loser question, which is he gay? Is he trying to get gay with you? I'm like, what? Just because he responds back to me immediately, it's a gay relationship? What? No. Which is why in the next 7 minutes, I'm going to get you two guys $500 for having read the book report on this book. Pen to paper, you're doing a 2-minute video on, hey, I read the fifth epiphany. Now I'm monetizing the book 4 Steps to the Epiphany. It seems like I need to interact with the user. Page 37. It's about to get magical because after you do that video, oh, that's so basic. Like I can totally just point a camera at page 37 and do a book report that's 2 minutes long. But guess what? It's so easy to do that guess what happens? It's easier not to do it because that's the whole reason why some people never start. They're like, will you give me venture capital? Because I'm not just going to read 2 books to conjure up a book. Stripe? The Collison brothers? Name a company and I'll tell you the scandalous way that it resourcefully started. Ethan, you don't have anything else negative to say? If you're not dropping 15 negative things per my live stream, that must mean you're thinking 3 positive things. Right? Last night's stream was crazy. Crazy. Who followed up? Perfect. All he did, good job expanding on a prior, by the way. All Michael Dell did was reassemble IBM parts and added the slightest feature, a mouse that wasn't as fucked up as the rest of the fucked up mouses. And he did it out of his dorm room. And later, he pretended like he didn't hustle. So he's literally doing what Altair Basic is this the Microsoft of? He's literally doing what shittier version of what lower cost version of an IBM computer is this the Michael Dell machine of? And why did he call it Michael Dell? What? We're executing now. What are you talking about? I'm not your mentor. I mean, I am your mentor, but what are you going to do for the next 4 minutes? Because last time I checked, you haven't picked up the $500 for this. You're leaving? Or are you getting ready to say bye before you say bye? I don't care. Me and Moose are going to focus. Why did he call his company Dell? In the same way that most YouTube channels call themselves two generic names because they don't want to get sued if they say something dumb, which I've never understood hiding behind an LLC, because if you like kill 15 people with your widget, okay, people should know who messed up that badly, right? I mean, not that it would be that crappy of a product, but do you see what I'm saying? Like, if you don't call your own company related to your name, you're trying to mitigate risk, and by doing that, you seem like a skis. Whereas I'm doing the opposite, where I'm like really Larry Chang, and people like, there's no way you only have 480 YouTube subscribers. How long have you been doing videos, right? And so that's kind of the opposite situation that we're in. But with this, what are you doing towards $500? This book right now is undervalued. How did I even get this book? I'm at a party fundraiser. Do you want to hear about how I met Steve Blank, which will help you make $500? Or do you have questions about the 2-minute video of your first video that you will do with your face or without your face? I don't care. But it's a video report on an article, The Fifth Epiphany, focusing specifically on Steve Blank's Fourth Epiphany. 2 minutes. 2 minutes, 12 sentences. You don't even need 2 pictures. You can just draw a picture like this, and we'll call that your first crappy video, and now you'll have me as a subscriber. Because what you do then is you take that video and you push the snowball down the hill. Because right now, as far as snowballs go, you guys had a big hesitation just on, hey, are you going to direct message me? And you're like, where you guys were hesitant with messaging. So that's why I was like, okay, in the next 11 minutes, now in the next 4 minutes, I will transfer the knowledge required for you to make $500. Are you guys happy with this? Why are there only 2 likes? Are you guys confused? Should we progress? Why is Ethan 1 negative comment? What, all this other stuff is positive? Where you don't have anything negative to say about any of this stuff? That was funny last night. That was funny. Let's progress. So after the video, you connect the video to a conference with more people that haven't read Stephen Blank's book. There's a conference, if we're getting specific, Warren Buffett, Berkshire Hathaway. It's a $15,000 conference. Do you see how I'm dropping numbers and citing things where you're like, oh shit? But we are getting specific because you guys didn't get specific with your conference. Game developer conference. You guys could have said anything anyway. Warren Buffett, May 1, May 2, May 3. Old people do annual things. They just do annual things. Every year, it's annual. They just can't help it. And what we're doing is we're front running what goes on annually. Christmas. People forget to buy stuff and they forget to put up their tree the day after Christmas. The Super Bowl. Plot spoiler, okay? This year it's in New Orleans. Did you book your hotel room yet? If you're a super fan for the Packers or the Chargers or the Chiefs? No, because you're superstitious religious. This is the time machine. This is the time machine. Is I'm booking the hotel room now and then squatting what it looks like in the future when stuff is sold out. And the time machine works like this. Book club, 1-to-1. What they don't teach you in school, book club, 1-to-1. Annually, Berkshire Hathaway in Omaha. Guess what? There's a book called Snowball about Warren Buffett. In that book, there are 64 chapters. Guess what chapter 65 is? Columbia Engineering. Do you see how I'm taking one book that people haven't read, doing a book report on a video, and then tying it into another book that I'm begging you to own because you still haven't bought it yet? What did I do when I first of this book? That's chapter 65, Columbia. Page 117 of Snowball is Warren Buffett getting into Columbia. Page 123 is Ben Graham, Columbia University professor, giving a verbal admission, come to Columbia. Page 117, Warren Buffett said, "Hey, Mr. Ben Graham, Professor Graham, I use your book all the time. My name is Warren Buffett. Do you see what I'm trying to get you to do? I'm trying to get you to do some Warren Buffett, Larry Chang shit." And so what we're going to do, 650-283-8008, Larry at duck9.com. No long goodbyes. What I did to get into this college, Stanford University, GSB, is I used a book written by Irv Grousbeck. Hashtag StramGT 353. Strategic Management 353. Look at my strategic management videos 353. Fewer than 20 views, but guess what? Those views are from the guy that the video is about. This is why this works every time and why I'm walking you through $500. And that's why Ethan refuses to say anything negative, because all of this shit is literally genius knowledge nuggets of gold that I'm shooting at you like a machine gun, begging you to adopt. Chapter 65. Snowball only has 64 chapters. They don't walk through how to go from 0 to 1 million, because Warren Buffett has gone from 0 to about 37 billion. Everyone in Omaha is massively demoralized. So that's why I wrote chapter 65. What's chapter 65? Columbia University as a springboard. That's where this book comes in, where we can ace Omaha May 1, May 2, and May 3 using Let's Avoid Bankruptcy with 4 Steps to the Epiphany. Will you pay $600 to go to a party at Omaha on April 30th? You would if there were a guarantee for, I didn't know that Snowball had chapter 65, 66, 67, 68, 69, and 70, which I've already mapped out if you can Google search on Twitter. And remember, Google hides things from Twitter and also vice versa, because that's why the platforms don't love each other, which is why on YouTube it does not cross over very well to Instagram. Is this guacamole recipe number 23 an external API? Yes. API like application protocol interface. Moose, do you have any questions? How close are you to 500? Did you want to find a conference? Did you want to get a specific book besides this book? Or are we going to do this book? Those 5 books are at Mr. Peabody, The Fifth Epiphany. Good job on expanding on our prior, but we kind of just want to do one book. Or, I mean, you pressured me, so I'm going to say yes. Let's do this book. What they don't teach you at Harvard Business School about using book club to make almost $500. Repeat that all back to me because I just gave you almost $1,000. Repeat that all back to me, please, Ethan. Not for Moose. Not for anyone else, just for Moose, because Moose has been a great student as we are collaborating. I gave you the title for that video to then make $500. What did I give you for free? That was literally $500. What's step 1, Moose? Am I being hard on you? This is accountability. This is why every one of my group springboards, which happens to be chapter 66. I'm making myself laugh because this is magical. And I'm laughing because it was an interruption of the expected. There you go. Okay, so I'm going to repeat what I said because you need to put it in the feed. What they don't teach you at Harvard Business School about using a YouTube book club to make almost $500. What they don't teach you at Harvard Business School about doing a book club to make almost $500. Basically, this video, I said 9.5 minutes ago that I was going to take the next 11 minutes without follow-up getting you $500 because I gave you the title for video number 2 or the content for video number 2, which is what they don't teach you at Harvard Business School, which is a clickbait awesome thing. What they don't teach you at Harvard Business School about, I should almost record this in case you don't do it. In fact, after you do it, I'm going to cite your video and then put it on WordPress. That's an API. An API is an application protocol interface. So I'm taking the API of this YouTube and I'm connecting it into Matt Mullenweg's WordPress. This is not name dropping. This is citing specifically who started WordPress. What they don't teach you at Harvard Business School about doing a YouTube book club that will almost make Moose $500. That's your content. That's your title. That's your second video. Good video. And I'm going to embed your video. I'm going to embed your video to not make you go viral, but to make you go from 13 views to maybe 100 views. And now your snowball is rolling down a hill. Any laughter? How do you not laugh at that? I just cited Warren Buffett's book written by Alice. What would you recommend to look for books, tested and proven knowledge to put together for building a successful company? Why am I speechless? Why am I speechless? Why am I speechless? I'm literally speechless. Why am I speechless? Tell me. Why am I speechless? The reason I'm speechless is how many more books did you want to make $500 on before you would make $500? Because, yeah, I've read a lot of books, but one of the first things I did was I did the hard part of collecting the money. Yeah, because I can list out a bunch more books. Entrepreneurship Essentials by Brett Hurt. I've read that book maybe twice. It was mediocre. I like him as a person. Ditto the book Mom Test. Okay, it was an okay book. Another pretty good book, which I mean, I read every book, but like, and that's ostentatious, but I speed read. But the important part uh, is money collection. Oh my God. Right back to the book that you're doing for video number 2 versus not expanding on a prior. I'm going to expand on your prior. Are you subscribing to me? Mark McCormack, money collection, the Mark McCormack reverse rebate model. It goes like this. Remember that $600 party for Would You Like to Buy Chapter 65 of Snowball? It's the unofficial sequel to Warren Buffett's book. Would you like to come to my party and get chapters 65 through 70? Because I mapped out CHA 65 on X. I mapped out CHA 70 on X. You just need to go scrape it and then throw it into ChatGPT and wabam. It's already outlined. So ChatGPT can throw together chapter 70. There's a business called Let Me Google That For You, because old people still can't search very well. In fact, that is day number X plus 59 in the 99 Days of Christmas, which is old people still can't Google. But if old people can't Google, do you think they can even chat GPT? No. And so you just chat GPT up chapter 70, which I've already written the outline for you over on X. Hashtag CHA66 Springboard. And then you just ask ChatGPT if Larry Chang were to write chapter 66 with this as a focus, what would 15 pages look like using his previous tweets on springboarding? Shit's so fucking easy right now that, like, I don't get why there's an economic urination of people going literally down the toilet. I don't get it. I don't get it. Does Sam Altman need to charge less than $20 a month? I don't understand what is going on, which is why I am enthusiastically trying to reach out to people over YouTube from my platform, which never has taken off. Now, I will make it take off, because look at how good this mother scratching video is. Last 15 videos have all been bangers. Look, Ethan tried to pee on my live stream and he just found more value. By video number 11, Ethan will go from hater to lover, which is why I tolerate negative people with disrespect, because it's not you disrespecting me. What it is, because I have a time machine, it is you disrespecting your old self for not having listened as well as Larry Chang 2 months ago, 2 years ago, 2 decades ago, 2 lifetimes ago. Did I just time distort your life? Yes. Chapter 11, Joe Dispenza, Time Space Continuum. There's a reason that you're here when I'm about to asymptotically explode in popularity. Why? Because I'm willing to pour myself into return on investment in ways that are irrefutably zero risk. Video 1, you're doing a video report on not even a book. You're doing a book report on a magazine article on the web. There's literally no way for you to screw it up. And it's only 2 minutes. It's literally only 2 minutes long. Like, the only way you could screw it up is by saying, oh, Steve Blank, fuck that guy. In fact, that wouldn't even mess it up. You could say something that wrong and it wouldn't even mess up, because people just be like, oh, that's just the student athlete talking. Like, it's some slang for Riz or fuck you, which is the equivalent of a student athlete saying I love you or that you're a genius. Video 2, what they don't teach you at Harvard Business School about book club and making almost $500 with Larry Chang. What? How do you know him? Are you related to him? No, I just met him on a video. What? Did he help you in person? No. I just watched a live stream, I took notes, and then I front ran a specific thing with $500, and I pre-published, with his consent, Snowball, a book about Warren Buffett. And do you see how once you get to video 2 or landing page number 1, now you're off to the races. What is landing page number 1? It was a long-winded way for me to show off, because I knew I had you locked in for the 11 minutes. So now I'm going to pre-roll landing page with how I met Steve Blank. With how I met Steve Blank. Get it? Sun's going down, and I need the sun to have a delta, because normally I do a sunrise video. This will be my only sunset video. Cool, right? So, I'm at a fundraising party that is $250 per person. I think I got in free, but I'm with a date. My date is fuego hot, okay? Let's call her Jessica, because that was her name. And normally I don't date Asian chicks. She was fuego hot and awesome. So we're at a party and I have to go to the bathroom because I drink a crap ton of water. Go to the bathroom, come back, there's a dude talking to her. I was like, hey, I'm back. She's like, oh, okay. Wouldn't leave him. So here I am talking to my date, and LA energy. in San Francisco Bay Area. I'm like, okay, well, if I'm going to talk to you, I'm not going to ask you what you do. I'm going to ask you, okay, so what makes you awesome in the industry that you work in? Because I'm not going to ask you what you do because I don't want you to feel bad, right? And he's like, well, the reason I'm so awesome is because I run Pop Sugar. I'm like, okay, that's a big brand name, I guess. I haven't heard of it, but you say it with confidence. I'm going to believe confidence. What made you level up? Like, what books did you use? What advisors and mentors did you have? But what book did you use to become such an awesome company? I mean, Pop Sugar, right? He's like, yeah, Pop Sugar. You know how I leveled up? I aced 4 steps to the epiphany. I was like, oh shit, you are a whale. And then my date was like, what? Are you guys friends now? I was like, hold on, hold on. 4 steps to the epiphany? Who wrote it? He goes, who wrote it? Steve Blank. Sometimes when you ask the question, who wrote it, they'll be like, I have no idea who wrote it. And you're like, thank you for telling me that you're an idiot. He just knocked it out. He just knocked it out. He's like, Steve Blank. I was like, ruh-roh, ruh-roh. Might be losing a girl, but guess what? I'm going to be gaining a 0. So I walk around the corner to get on my Sidekick. Do you know what a Sidekick is? It's like a flip top. It's like a flip top. Ding! You just open it, and it just was like the most awesome device ever. A Sidekick. So I get on my Sidekick that I'm paying like almost $100 per month for internet on, and I ordered the book from my buddy Jeff's website, Amazon. And so I ordered the book. I go back there, okay? They're still talking. What would you do? What would you do? This is my second trip. What would you do? This is what I did. I was like, okay, my date is literally off of the Larry Chang train, okay? She's off the Larry Chang train. This is what makes me the vagina whisperer, because I went ahead and wired my brain. Not because I want to be a pussy magnet, but because I understand women, and I took that understanding not to sleep with 15 women a week. I took that understanding to become the third institution of Silicon Valley by answering questions of how do we as females become awesome? Because if you're looking at blonde billionaires in the United States of America, I'm batting 1,000. Whitney Wolf, Sarah Blakely, Lisa Falzone, Caroline Rodriguez, and then I got another one coming up. Probably Shelby Haas, but I've got more than just Shelby, and I don't know why. They're just a kindred. That's what makes vagina whispering awesome. And so I did the difficult thing, which was made easy, is I was like, walked in front of her to talk to other women. And I didn't just say, oh, hi, I'm Larry. Do you like my cowboy hat? Meh, okay. I'm losing my date. Because everybody could see. I was like, can I ask you a favor? And the girl's like, okay. I'm like, will you make out with me in front of me so that way my date can be jealous? And she's like, ew, what? She didn't say ew. She's like, what? What do you want me to do? I was like, will you make out with me so that way she gets jealous? And this hotter girl goes, I will. So what did I do there? I literally set my ego aside and I started to solve my problem, not as a theoretical problem, but as a, oh my God, I need to do page 37 of this book. Went ahead and did that 2 more times, and then Jessica came running back. But that's not the end of the story. Oh, no, 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 no. 2 days later, the book arrives. 2.15 days later, I've now read this book. I've now read this book. This is the earlier version. I've now read this book. This is to get to dollars. This is to get to dollars over 500. Do you feel magical things about to happen? Screenshot this. Screenshot. I consent to you taking a screenshot of this shit because YouTube may not have this live stream up. So I would screenshot this. This gets you barely over 500. By the way, all of this is free. And in the future, if you're watching an archived version, you don't have to cut me in for a thing. Not the end of the story, because what happens is... Not the end of the story, because what happens is I go to a dinner, a Steve Blank dinner that is sold out, hosted by a famous VC. Dave McClure's dinner. Dave McClure's dinner, mother scratching, sold out. I'm on the wait list. Cost $80. I show up 15 minutes early with exact change. You don't have to Venmo me. I'm not going to Venmo you. I'm not going to PayPal you. I'm not going to lightning strike, Bitcoin zap you. I got cash in hand waiting for you to say yes on the $80. Exact change. Because I took the time to prepare to get into the party. I show up 15 minutes early. He's like, yeah, cool. Thanks for showing up. If somebody cancels, you can get in for dinner. Guess who shows up 5 minutes before his own party? Or maybe 10 minutes before his own party? Steve Blank. I know this because his picture is right here. Do you see why one-to-one book club works almost every time? Because if you wrote a book, we kind of own you because we read that book. And did you see the video that I made as a book report via video to your book? Oh yeah, it came up on my Gmail alerts. This is what nobody understands, is reading a book is time traveling. Look at how interested Stray was about time travel. I'm showing you how to time travel right now. We're traveling in time forward with this to get you at least to 500. It is this. He then says, oh yeah, hi. I was like, Professor Blank, can you sign my book? I'm not a student at Columbia. I'm not a student at Stanford. I'm not a student anymore because I graduated University of Illinois. But I called him Professor Blank versus Steve, sign my book? I can't tell you how many times I'm with a name brand athlete and they're like, Tom, will you sign my shit? And he's like, I am 40 plus years old and you're just calling me by my first name? What? Professor Blank, will you sign my book? He's like, yeah, sure. He opens up page 1 and there's a page of notes. He opens the next page and it's covered in notes. in the same way that I took notes on the cover of this book. He looks at me and then he looks at the book. He looks at me and he looks at the book and he goes, "Aren't you Larry, the guy who parties every night in Silicon Valley?" I'm like, "That is me." And now he knows that I party a lot and I read super in depth. So he signs my book and he's like, "I have a table up in the front, but I'm not sure if all of the people at my table are going to come. Would you like to upgrade and sit at the front table?" And I was like, "Actually, I don't even have a ticket yet, but like, let me go clear that with the host." And he's like, "Yeah, cool. Clear with the host and you're welcome to join me at my table." So I walk over to Dave McClure. I was like, "Well, Professor Blank just asked me for him to join the table." Most people at that time would be like, "Cool, I get to save $80." That's why you prepare with the $80, because just because Steve Blank is comping you, you don't take that comp. And that's what chapter 8 of my mentor's book is karma can be tracked, measured, and channeled. As I channel you almost $500 for video number 3. Are you ready, Moose? Yes. I don't even know what that is, but if you're asking, the answer is probably yes. Video number 3, Moose, is book club at a nightclub with the Steve Blank book. And maybe you're not old enough to go to a nightclub. It'll be book club at a steakhouse. And you're not obligated to buy yourself a $200 steak. You can just go for the happy hour, drink water, and order one appetizer. In fact, Moose, since you've been such a great student in this live stream, you will get an appetizer on me, or we'll split the appetizer. I'm not coming, okay? I'm not visiting you. I'm just offering to finance half of your appetizer. This is how video 3 is going to work. You bring 2 copies of Steve Blank's book to the steakhouse, and you call it, remember, video 2 is what they don't teach at Harvard Business School about a YouTube book club, where I'm making almost $500. Video 3 is you're at a steakhouse doing a pop-up book club. You're doing a pop-up book club, and at this pop-up book club, you're doing a video. The video might be longer than 2 minutes. That's okay. But you want to have a follow-on video to what magical shit happened when you went to a steakhouse with 2 copies of the same book. If you're hopefully old enough to go to a restaurant alone, okay? But like, definitely tell your parents, "Hey, I'm going to a restaurant alone because I'm going to go network." And Ethan, do you see how this live stream connects up with yesterday's live stream, which is how do I network at a restaurant where women are eating food and rich people who are at a steakhouse, right? You bring 2 copies of the same book. And I kind of wish we didn't pick this book, because this book used is like $30. But that's what we did, okay? You show up with 2 paperback versions of a book that looks exactly like this. You know what? I'm glad it cost $30. When I had to buy a paperback, I was like, a paperback for like $58? What the F? That's way too much money. I paid for it anyway, got massive returns right away. Your results will not vary. Your results literally will not vary. yes, this is financial advice. There is no way you could fuck it up and then sue me by saying, Larry gave me this financial advice. I brought 2 books and then I threw them out before I stepped into the steakhouse. Because you can't, this is literally so easy that anybody, including retarded people, can do this. This is how it works. When you have 2 copies of the book, a famous book too, you got to show the cover. You can't just be like tucking it underneath and not showing it, okay? You got to show the cover. Once people see the cover, they're either going to ask you good questions or they're going to ask you great questions. Here are the questions that you will be asked. Write these down, because if you don't have answers to these questions, you're literally throwing money away, which is not good. Question 1. Hey, Cheeseball, did you write that book? That's negative, and you kind of want people to go negative. The answers are triplicate, because remember, what are we getting great at? We're getting great at selling a book for $100 that we paid $30 for. Remember, first we want to sell it, then we want to buy it. We don't want to buy 4 books and then sell one for $3 more than when we paid. Oh, no, 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 no. You're going to be selling this book for, let's sell it for $200 because we need to get to 500 in a hurry, and 11 minutes was 15 minutes ago. No, it's not my book. I wish my name were Steve Blank, and you don't look at the cover. Steve Blank. You're like, is this my book? I wish I were Professor Blank. Are you high? What are you doing now? You're showing off by knowing the author of the book. You're also showing off with your tonality. You're also basically slamming them into a $200 sale because they know you're not Steve Blank and they're trying to give you shit. And if you're at a steakhouse, there are a lot of rich people at a steakhouse that want to be entertained. They are bored of going to eat at brand name steakhouse, okay, because they've had that boring dinner 10 times, okay? Especially if it's a work night dinner. Like, they're bored. You're going to be the entertainment. You're going to be the entertainment, which is why you showed up at a steak restaurant with nerding out. Are you waiting to meet people? Not waiting to meet people. This is a book club. This is a book club. Where are the other people? Old book club. 15 people meet up. Half the people didn't read the book. Everybody's talking about it. That's not a book club. That's losers yapping. You are in book club with a person who could be joining your book club, which is why you memorize chapters 1 through 11 in the same way that you can even cheat and write down chapters 1 through 11. 4 steps to the epiphany. What's one of the epiphanies? Oh, customer development and the customer life cycle. Because now we found out that companies go bankrupt when the tech founders, the founders, and the CEO refuse to talk to the customer. Oh my God, our company needs that. We totally need that. Nobody's talking to customers, and when customers say negative stuff, the DEI candidates try to get them canceled. Look at how welcoming I am to people peeing on my message board trying to say negative stuff, right? It turns out, counterintuitively, page 67, should I read from you page 67? Because it DJs to lecture 9 of Stanford Engineering 145. And do you see what happens when you just memorize page 37, page 37, page 67? Because now they say a problem, you say a page number. And if you can just memorize those 2 pages, they come up all the time. When you ace one of the page numbers, you will be able to pull $200. This is how to pull the $200 at a steakhouse with a used book. Sounds like this book can solve your problem. $200, please. $200? What's $200 for? I would like you to pay me $200. What? For what? I'm going to sell you this copy of the book for $200. Are you in? If they're rich, they'll peel off $200 right now just to get your phone number. I appreciate the guide to 500. Thank you very much. I have to leave for the night, but before, can I have you repeat those 5 books and the PhD thesis? It's 650-283-8008. Into Google, it's Mr. Peabody, Fifth Epiphany. Those are the 5 books. Eric Ries, Lean Startup, What They Don't Teach at Harvard Business School, Mark McCormack, Steve Blank, 4 Steps to the Epiphany, Alexander Ostrander, Business Model Generation, Jeffrey Moore, Crossing the Chasm. And the sequel book to Cross the Chasm, which is the same thing as selling a $200 book, is Focus and Finish, because this is how to collect 200. Focus and Finish, which is this. It's $200 for this book. Are you in? Most people at this point will be like, yes, I'm definitely in. But let's say it's a person who looks like they're rich, but is actually just pretending to be rich and can't say thank you. Because in a steakhouse, everyone says thank you, everyone tips 30%, and everyone's pretty rich. But once in a while, you'll meet a faker who isn't rich, and this is how to sell even that person who doesn't have $200. Cool. Do you not think that this book's worth $200? It's okay if you don't have $200. This is what we're going to do. Do you see what I did there? If you're hesitant, because I just solved your giant problem with a specific page number. I earned $200 just for that problem. Now, you insult them a little bit. Maybe you don't have $200 for this book. But this is what I'm going to offer you. Memorize this and forget this at your peril, because this is the hardest money that other people don't make that I turned into the easiest thing ever, which is why this works 100% of the time. Focus. It's $200, but since you don't have $200, that's okay. I will buy you a copy of this book. This is how I'm going to do it. Pay me $200, and if you read 2 chapters, or at least the 2 pages, post those 2 pages on your social media, I will refund you $100 back per time that you mention Professor Blank's book in a positive light. Pay me $200, refund 1, say 1 positive thing. Refund 2, say another positive thing. Or read 1 chapter, read chapter 2. Or in motivational listening, read chapter 10, read chapter 1. Read 2 chapters, I will refund all $200 back. The reason you stop talking then is they will be sweating because you're half their age. I used to be half people's age. You're half their age and you're offering a $200 book for $0. This actually gets you to more than $200 because now you are a force of nature that they are going to have to interface and network with. Are you at risk for losing 30 bucks? No, there's no risk because if you do all these things and you do this as video number 4 and you're like, Larry, this guy ripped me for 200 bucks and then he took the 200 bucks back and now I'm out 30 bucks. Like, this is your fault, Larry. And if you did everything right, I will pay more than $30 for that video, which is video number 4 and video number 5, because that person is about to explode, not on a negative basis, but on a positive basis, because they'll have posted those 2 items on social, yet still had a civil war. So that case study is actually incredibly valuable, which is how do you read 2 chapters of the most genius book ever written on business and not make 30 grand? And I want to meet the person who meets a kid, makes 30 grand, and then tries to screw the kid. Like, that to me is very entertaining, which is why I'll cover you for the $30 used in your risk. Super fun, right? That's the Larry Chang reverse rebate model. This has been book club, and so for the people that are still in this room, I can extend this even though I'm starved. I can extend it by doing this. Comment a book, a business book, a nonfiction book that you have. Comment 1 book. And then we can study buddy that book 1-to-1. And then I can march you towards making 20 bucks with that 1 book.